But my name is Brooke and I work with Nebraska Agriculture in the classroom, and we are so excited to join or have all of you join us on this virtual field trip experience. I have my friend Farmer Dallas with me today, and we are going to learn a little bit about how he takes care of the sheep on his farm. So Nick, can I have you turn your camera on so our friends can see? All right. And if Nick, you want to go, perfect. I think we'll go ahead and get started. So on this virtual field trip, I'm going to share some information with you about sheep, and I'm going to kind of give Dallas a question and answer type of interview, and we're going to learn how he takes care of his sheep. And then Dallas is going to share some information with us about his sheep, and we will take real life questions today. So as when I have questions, I'll ask you guys if anybody has questions today. And if teachers, if you want to send your students up to the camera, then I can tell kind of that we have questions that our students want to ask, and then we can unmute our microphones and ask those questions. But I want you to listen really closely today because it can get kind of loud in that sheep barn. And so we want to make sure that we're not asking the same question twice, because we only have about 30 minutes of our time today to see everything on his farm. And we want to make sure we can get through it all. So otherwise, if you do have questions, feel free to type it in the chat box too, and we'll kind of monitor that as we go throughout. But live questions are always fun from the students. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is my friend Farmer Dallas. And can everybody see Dallas on your screen? Okay, I'm going to pin him to the top of my screen too, so that we can see him. But Dallas, can you tell us, how long have you been caring for the sheep on your farm?
My whole life, probably about 55 years. I've had sheep.
Wow, okay. Why did you decide you wanted to be a sheep farmer?
Second generation, my dad had them. I had them. My son is going to come into the business soon. They're just a passionate animal and very, very loving and very nurturing animals.
So it sounds like you've kind of you grew up around sheep, and it's been a part of your whole entire life on the farm, and you just really enjoy being able to take care of them and raise them. So on Dallas's farm, these sheep can be called several different names. We call them moms. The moms are called ewes, and the fathers or the dads are called rams. Dallas, what do we call the babies?
We just call them baby lambs. Some are boy sheep, some are girl sheep. The girls are called ewe lambs. The boys are called ram lambs. And some of them do have personal names. I've got some spoiled pets in here.
So on your farm, lambs are typically born in late winter or early spring. How much do your baby lambs weigh when they're born?
On average, probably about 7 pounds is the 6 to 7 pounds is the birth weight of a baby lamb.
Okay, so that's about average if we compare it to a human baby almost. That's about the same size as a human baby when it's first born. On Dallas's farm, at about 4 weeks old, the lambs are weaned. So then they weigh about 25 pounds, which means we kind of separate them from the mothers so that they can begin to start eating their own food and not rely so much on their mom's milk. Sheep in the United States are raised for meat production, which is called lamb or mutton. And meat from sheep is really high in protein, and protein is a good nutritional source for us to help us grow big, strong muscles. So sheep are also raised to provide us with wool. Can you think of anything that you could make with wool or that you could buy? Ooh, I see some hands up. Maybe we can make clothing with those, such as socks, hats, gloves, and even sweaters. In Nebraska, there are over 78,000 sheep and lambs across the state. and one sheep will produce about 8 pounds of wool each year. How many times a year do we have to shear the wool off the sheep, Dallas?
We shear them once just before the babies are born. And if the weather is hot for the lambs in the summertime, we will shear them so they feel more comfortable also.
Okay, so it's kind of a way to cool them down almost in the summertime when it gets pretty warm out. So sheep can grow from about 7 pounds when they're first born to about 140 pounds when they're fully grown. And they grow in a unique way. And it all has to do with their basic needs. I want you guys to think about your basic needs. What do you need to be taken care of? What do you have to have in order to survive? I see some hands up. Maybe we need food, air, water, shelter. Do you think sheep have the same basic needs as us? Give me a thumbs up if you think they do, or a thumbs down if they do not. Dallas, can you tell us, do sheep have the same basic needs as humans?
Of course. That's the one. Of taking care of sheep, that is my number one priority, that they have clean water, plenty of food, nice warm place to lay down, and fresh air all the time, and just have a comfortable life.
Wonderful. Yeah, so your primary goal is to take care of these animals to ensure that they have everything they need to grow big and healthy by providing them with their most basic needs. So we are going to talk a little bit about those 4 basic needs today, and Farmer Dallas is going to help us do that. So Farmer Dallas, the first thing we're going to talk about is food. Sheep are herbivores. Can you tell us, what does that mean?
They eat grass. If there's a little sprinkle of like a weed that in the pasture, they'll eat that, but mostly they're a forage of grass, and they do eat in summertime, and then they eat hay in the wintertime when the grass is dormant and is no longer growing.
Okay, so would you say sheep need a lot of protein?
Of course.
Okay, yeah, and sheep, we said, eat that hay and that grass, and that's because they have a unique stomach. I want you to hold up on your fingers, how many stomachs do you think a sheep has? Ooh, I see 1. I see 3. Ooh, do any of you have the number 4 held up? Sheep have 4 compartments in their stomachs, and that's because they're considered a ruminant animal. And so those compartments in their stomach help break down the hay and the forages that those sheep eat, and so it helps them digest that. And so Farmer Dallas said he feeds his sheep corn and hay and some other grains on their farms. All right. How do you feed your sheep on your farm?
I feed my sheep individually because I want each one. Some are bigger, they'll need more feed. Some are a little bit smaller. I just go by the size of the animals, how much I think they need for their food for the day.
Wonderful. Our next basic need then is water. How do you ensure that the sheep have enough water to drink?
I have buckets, as you see behind me, and each one of the pens for each one of the mothers who's got babies can have water all the time. I check their water, make sure the water is clean, and that's my first thing I do in the morning, check and see if everybody has fresh water.
Okay, water is really important to us as well. We need it to stay hydrated, and so does Farmer Dallas's sheep. So you can see, maybe Farmer Dallas, can you point to your water? You have water buckets behind you?
Yes, each one of these pins, they kind of push their buckets away, but there's buckets in each one of them pins that the mamas drink. And then there's a red tub here for these mamas here. It's got babies to drink out of. And then I have a hydrant behind us that I get my water from to keep each one of these. And I water them twice a day.
Twice a day, wonderful. Do you know how much water your sheep drink a day? Do they drink about a bucket full? Or do you just make sure?
They drink probably about 2 gallons a day.
Okay, that's really
good. In summertime, it's a little bit more because of the heat. But at this time of year, they just drink enough to be happy and comfortable.
Yeah, I kind of have a gallon jug right here. So they're going to drink about 1 to 2 gallons of water a day. That's quite a bit more than we typically drink a day. So water and food are really important to us. The next basic need for pigs is fresh air. How do you make sure that your sheep on your farm have clean and fresh air to breathe?
Well, 95% of my lambs and my mom and my ewes are outside. They can come in if the weather's bad. But I have open doors for fresh air. Just kind of blows through the barn and keeps everybody comfortable and relaxed.
Wonderful. So we talked a little bit about the fresh air, and air is important. We need fresh air to breathe, and those sheep have access to fresh air in their barns. And that brings me to the next basic need, shelter. So shelter is really important to our farm animals too. So sheep raised on farms live in environments that are designed to help farmers meet their needs. So these environments that the sheep live in are especially important because can you tell us why you use your barns? How do you protect your sheep from the environment?
It's instinct of the animals. If it rains, if the weather's cold, they can all go inside all my buildings. So if they get cold, kind of get a chill, they can go inside. They have a sense of knowing what the weather is going to do, and they like to come in and be comfortable inside.
So you're saying your sheep can kind of choose to be inside or outside depending on the weather. And where do you keep your babies? Are your babies born in the barns?
Yes, as you see behind me, this is my last mother to have babies. I have all done. Everything's done having babies, and they stay in here where it's comfortable till I feel like I'm comfortable for them to go out in the main group with the other ewes with baby lambs. But I let them kind of grow up with mom inside these pens for about 5 days, and then I'll move them to a bigger group of lambs.
Okay. How do you protect your sheep from disease on your farms?
I give my lambs a shot. It's something to help. It's for pneumonia. Sheep kind of eat too much, and I give them a shot that helps their stomachs. I give them, if they need a shot, I give them a shot. If they feel punky, they don't feel right, or I can tell because I walk through them all the time and I watch them very closely. If one doesn't feel good, I give them a shot to make them feel better.
So it's kind of like if you think about if you ever get your flu shots, maybe you get a flu shot annually. Farmer Dallas is just there to make sure that he's giving the best care to his animals to prevent them from getting sick. Or if they are sick, he can help them feel better. So he said sheep can even get belly aches because sometimes they overeat. So he kind of has to make sure he is watching those sheep to help them feel better on their farms because he wants to ensure that he's providing the best care for them. So that is one way he can help protect his animals from getting sick. And you said, can you remind us, how do you keep your sheep warm on cold days?
As you see behind me, that we put down straw. That is a product from wheat, and it's kind of just like having a big comfort blanket. And everybody, all the sheep on my farm have a pen like this with a comfortable straw they can lay down. It's warm, they get relaxed, and if I put new straw down for them about every other day. And so they're comfortable and relaxed.
Wonderful. How do you keep your sheep safe from predators?
I have no problem with predators because it's more of a populated area. I don't have anything that comes and bothers them. It's been the animals here on my farm are very safe. Wonderful. And there's no outside threats from predators for my animals.
Wonderful. We're going to take some time for questions. Does anybody have any questions? We talked about some of those basic needs that farmers have. Do any of you have questions for Farmer Dallas? Let's see here. I see some hands up in Mrs. Cupp's class.
Okay. How many sheep do you have?
I have 65 mama ewes. I have 2 boy rams, and the babies, I have 85 of them already.
Very cool. Thank you. Let's see here. I think I see some hands in Mrs. Is it Sokol's classroom?
Question, Delaney.
How much wool does a sheep grow?
Good question. About 6 pounds is what a mother sheep, a ewe, will carry before we shear. And we, like I said, we do that before they have their babies. About six pounds.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? I see Mrs. Velada. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing some of these names here.
Oh, you pronounced that correctly.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Do you have a sheepdog?
No, I have cats. A dog is, I just don't have a sheepdog. I would like to have one, but it takes a lot of time and training, and I just don't have enough sheep to justify having a sheepdog.
All right, Mrs. Lou's class.
I don't know if she's going to come back or not by the.
All right, you can go ahead. I think Mrs. Lou's, your microphone is muted.
Okay.
How much food do they eat a day?
Does each sheep?
Well, the mama sheep will eat a pound a day. That's about a pound of grain. And the babies, when I give them their shot and they can eat all they want, they can go to my creep pen, which is behind us, and they can eat all they want. So they grow fast. But the mothers get about a pound of grain a day, and then also all the hay they can eat.
Wonderful. All right. I see Aiden's hand up on our screen. Aiden, do you want to help answer or ask a question to Farmer Dallas?
Can we see a close-up of a baby sheep?
Yes. If we can do that, that would be wonderful.
I've got one laying right here. We have a little one that it is a single, and see, you can pet him and play with him. He is about the most relaxed, and he badly spoiled. He is kind of, I have a very fondness for the babies, and I can catch one, and hopefully if you want to see one up close, I can bring a baby so you can see one up really close.
All right. While Farmer Dallas, maybe if he does catch one of those lambs for us to see, does anybody have any questions for him while he's doing that? Let's see here. In Miss Bergen's class.
She's trying to get every class to get an answer.
How
many baby sheep there are?
How many baby sheeps are there?
Oh, perfect. Do you know how many baby sheep you have on your farm right now?
85.
85. That's what I thought. Yes. Let's see. Very good. Who haven't I called on yet? Let's see. Prairie Wind Elementary. Do you have a question?
How'd you get the sheep in your farm?
Ooh. When he comes up here.
See this little boy? Yep, he's very fuzzy. He's got fuzzy ears, he's got fuzzy legs, he's got a fuzzy chin. Really soft.
Very
Can you give me this lamb a name? He needs a name.
Jerry. Jerry.
Very nice. Very good name. Farmer Dallas, we have another question. They asked, so how long have you had sheep on your farm?
My whole life. I lived on my farm here 15 years, and I've always had sheep. And my dad had sheep, and my whole life I've had sheep.
Yeah, you can hear kind of the sounds the sheep are making sometimes. You can see a few more sheep behind Farmer Dallas there. You can see the moms. The moms are called ewes.
And triplets. This mama had 3 babies, and she had 1, and that one over there, she had 1. So a sheep will average 2 babies, 1.5 babies apiece. Some have 2, some have 1.
So having 1 baby, sometimes they have, do you call them twins?
Yes, 3 lambs are triplets, 2 lambs are twins, then you think.
Wonderful. Let's see here. We have time for a few more questions before we review here. Mrs. Grov, do you have any questions in your classroom?
Oh, do you have any questions? What was your question, Miss Corinne?
My question was
how many mother sheeps were there?
Yeah.
I have 65 mama sheep.
Yeah, so he has quite a few sheep on his farm. He has 65 moms and 85 babies right now. Let's see here. Mrs. Holdren, do you have any questions in your classroom?
Colton, what's your question? Liz, come on. Gotta say it loud.
Does the mama sheep weigh when she has a baby in her?
Ooh.
What was that question?
Do you know how much the mama sheep weighs when she is pregnant with her baby?
Oh, about 150 pounds is what she weighs. They're not tall. I have one in the background with the baby behind us. They weigh about 150 pounds when they have their babies.
Yeah. So if you think about it, on average, that mom weighs about 145 pounds, and then that baby is about 5 to 7 pounds when born. So we have those different animals on our farms. We are going to review here quick, and then we'll take questions. So as a quick review, our animals, our sheep, have 4 basic needs. They need food, water, shelter, and air. And Farmer Dallas is able to provide all of these basic needs for his farm animals, especially his sheep. Farmer Dallas, can you tell us what are some of the job duties that sheep farmers have?
What's the question again?
What are some of the job duties that you have to do on your farm?
Keep their water clean. Make sure that I have plenty of food on hand to feed them, and make sure that their water buckets and their water tanks that they drink out are clean, and just kind of walk through the animals and make sure that everybody's walking around okay and healthy and comfortable and relaxed.
Wonderful. Can you tell us kind of what it's like to be a sheep farmer?
Very relaxing. I guess it's just kind of a comfort that you're taking care of an animal that looks up to you, needs their needs taken care of. It's a passion of mine. I have kids that show 4-H for me. They show 4-H animals for me. It's something I love doing. Like I said, I grew up in this business.
Wonderful. So Farmer Dallas has to be able to take care of his sheep, and he has to be able to recognize when the animals aren't feeling well so that he can give them the best care possible. Maybe he has to be able to make sure he has the barns are clean, and he can provide the food and water for them each and every day. So he has to be there to check on his animals every day. Farmer Dallas, do you have to go to school to be a sheep farmer?
No, it's something that's in your blood. I mean, it's something it's a passion that you have. I help a lot. I'm a mentor or a teacher for a lot of people that are just getting started. And with my experience, I teach them things that would help them down the road to make them better farmers for their sheep. You don't have to go to a school you just have to have the passion for the animals.
Yeah, but you do have to know some education that goes in and some math and science, right? That goes into taking care of those animals.
We go to classes too.
Yeah, there's people who can help educate you or teach you new things about raising sheep to help you be a better sheep farmer. So there's a lot of different opportunities that Farmer Dallas has used and helps other people learn how to care for their sheep. So that's kind of a fun thing. How did you learn to care for your sheep on your farm?
My dad taught me. I learned from the best. My dad was a good teacher. I had older gentlemen that were friends of my father that I kind of looked up to and learned a lot from them. There's always something new to learn about sheep. The colleges, the universities are really good about teaching people about and having classes for sheep. Always learn something new. Always study hard and ask questions. Always keep learning.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Farmer Dallas. We have a couple more minutes for questions if anybody has a question. Let's see here. Let's go back to Mrs. Cupp's class.
How many things did you make out of wool?
Ooh.
Oh, there's a lot of things you can make out of wool. You can make hats, socks, coats. You can use wool for garden fertilizer, for mulch, for like your mom and dad uses around flowers and plants. You can use it there. There's just so uses, and it's such a neat product that Mother Nature provided us.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. If you think about shearing a sheep, it's kind of like us getting haircuts. Those sheep grow wool just like our hair would grow, and we have to make sure we take care of them so the wool doesn't get too heavy. So sheep can give us, if you remember, about 6 to 8 pounds of wool. All right, Miss Bergen.
You can put your hands down. I don't know if she'll come up.
Yes, your question.
How fast can a sheep run?
Ooh, how fast can a sheep run? And I think that's what you asked.
Oh, they can run very fast. The young
These are so cute.
they run real fast because they do a lot of playing this time of the year with the grass is growing and the sun shining and it's beautiful out. They just play all day long. I have videos of the lambs playing and running. It's very enjoyable.
I remember you said so you keep your baby sheep inside so that they can be with their mamas, but your other sheep are outside sometimes during the day so they can run around and play, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, Mrs. Velada, do you have a question in your classroom?
How old is your oldest sheep?
Ooh.
Oh, hon, I have a sheep that she's 12 years old. A normal sheep is 4 to 5 years. She keeps having babies every year. She's right there in that pen all by herself. She had one baby this year. She's probably 11 to 12 years old, which is very long for her lifespan. But as long as my sheep are comfortable and happy, and they stay forever.
Wonderful. All right, Mrs. Schwartz class. All right, go ahead. Oh, can you repeat it one more time?
Oh, she said, what are the sheep's names?
Oh, can you name a couple of your sheep's names for us?
Okay, we have Diva, we have Gretchen. One back there that has a single. Her name is Grandma. Always will be Grandma. We got Carly. We got Pixie. I've got lots of names.
Wonderful. All right. Is there any other classes that have a couple questions that I haven't got to for the second time around? Let's see here. Do we have any in Miss Sokol's class?
Question.
How much wool do you collect on a year?
Ooh. Do you know how much wool you collect in a year?
Probably about 6 pounds per mama per ewe is what I collect a year.
Okay, yeah. So if we would add all of that up, that would be a really big number. So let's see here. We are going to wrap up because we are at right about 30 minutes here. But sheep provide us with a lot of different things. They provide us with meat and wool. It's an option that we can choose to eat, but that wool helps us make our clothing such as hats, coats, and gloves. But Farmer Dallas, his job on his farm is to ensure that these sheep have the best care possible by providing them with food, water, air, and shelter, which are the basic needs of these animals, which are similar to our basic needs. Farmer Dallas's barn allows his sheep to be protected from diseases and the environment, and to also protect them from predators. And farmers are the caretakers of sheep in their environment. So I just want to say thank you to Farmer Dallas. He lives on a farm near Blue Hill, Nebraska. So it's right in the middle of Nebraska here. But I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy work schedule to join us on a virtual field trip today.
I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed it.
And thank you to all of our classrooms today for joining us and letting us and helping us celebrate National Ag Week. So thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Would you like to say thank you?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right.